Hi, and welcome to leg day. Probably the hardest workout of the week, but one that we never skip. Today, we're going to start warming our knees up with a thigh extension or leg extension, as it were, where you want to try to get as much range of motion as you can. I'm getting as much as this machine will let me. It really doesn't start with much of a pre stretch, but if your legs are back under you a little bit more, that's actually preferable here. So, what we have is a position where my knees are in line with the bolt that you see there, the pivot point, if you will, for the legs. And I am, upright, holding in tight, keeping my hips down, and forcing all of the action to happen through the quadriceps, the thigh muscles. We're going to do 15 repetitions, and we're going to do 2 to 3 sets. Now, I'll tell you that later in the workout, you may want to drop down to 2 sets if you're getting super fatigued with these movements. From there, we're going to move on to a hack squat. Now, I'm using machines that do more than one thing. So this machine is also a leg press. So the pad's been moved up. My feet are on the plate, which is okay in size. It could stand to be a little bit bigger. But the great thing is there's a stop right there, so I know when I've gone deep enough because I've run out of room on the machine. And again, we want to kind of focus on 15 repetitions for the legs as opposed to 12 for the upper body because they have way more fibers as compared to, let's say, your arm muscles or your chest muscles. So those 3 extra reps will do wonders for getting recruitment out of those muscle fibers. We, if we do a cut through the body and we take a look at the upper body, well, it's mostly open space for our digestive system, our lungs and heart and so on, with little slabs of muscles on the outside. But when you cut your leg, it's a big slab of muscle with a little bone in the middle. So it's mostly muscle. And in order to get the most out of the tension and the most out of the stress that we're trying to put these muscles under, we up the reps a little bit. Now, today, the fit is North Pole Swole. And of course, you can get this at our Shopify store. We'll put the link down below for you. All right, I'm converting this machine over here that we just did the thigh extension, and now it's in the position for a seated leg curl. And again, we start with a really big stretch position. I'm locking things down so my upper legs in particular are not moving, and all of the action is hinging at the knee. Now, I'm doing it this way, driving my heels underneath, and I'm going as far back as the machine will let me. I'm getting a pretty good squeeze, though, I'll tell you, and a pretty good burn. You want to pick a weight that you could easily get the 15, but not easily get 20 per se. You want to stop somewhere about 17 if your life depended on it. And that'll give you the approach to failure that we need. Now, again, I'm only showing 1 set, but as we go further into the sets, our fatigue factor kicks in. It really starts to burn. You got to take a couple extra breaths here, but you're going to grind out those repetitions. You don't quit just because it got hard. When it gets hard is when the results are going to come. All right, get ourselves out of that machine. Don't forget that when you're in these machines that can do more than one thing, you're taking up 2 machines, or in this case, this one does 3 things, because I am going to now utilize it for a standing single leg curl. And although it looks like I'm limited in motion, my calf is hitting my hamstring. I can't bring my leg up any higher, at least with that resistance. So I'm really squeezing. It's like doing a dumbbell concentration curl for your upper arm. And by doing it this way, we have one exercise, the seated leg curl, with a seated position. So our hips are bent at 90 degrees. And now I'm standing. So the attachment point for the hamstring up into the pelvis is different. And I start from a stretch position, or I start from a position where the pole starts lowered, like behind the knee here. And trust me, you will feel a difference. You can also do a lying leg curl if you needed more hamstring work. After all of that, we're going to go to the sissy squat bench here, locking our legs in so we can't flip over or fall down. We're going to rely 100% on this bench and drop down, putting incredible tension on the quadriceps and strengthening the knees as well. Now, I currently weigh 228 pounds, so body weight is plenty here. Although, if you're pretty light or pretty strong, you certainly could hold a dumbbell or a plate if you felt like you needed to add some resistance. They're named sissy squats not because they're easy, but because in Greek mythology, Sisyphus was punished by the gods to roll a boulder to the top of the mountain. When he got to the top, it would roll back down. So in all the depictions, he had really, really big quadriceps, big thighs. Now you'll notice I quit at 10 there. That was my last set. If I wanted to keep walking today, I was going to have to stop at 10. And that's where instinctual training comes in. You're doing what your instincts are saying. I could maybe get a couple more, but then my knees are going to hurt. I am 57 years old after all, and I don't want that to happen. All right, we're going to finish up with a seated calf raise. Now, you might read some articles that say this is a useless exercise. I'm going to disagree with them wholeheartedly here. You see, a seated leg curl works the soleus muscle. That's the diamond-shaped muscle that forms a plate behind your actual balled-up calf muscles called the gastrocnemius. When they say these don't activate the calves, they erroneously say they're not working the gastrocnemius because when the knees are bent, the soleus is our prime mover. That doesn't mean the other muscles aren't doing anything. They're just not the prime mover. And since I like a calf that has a nice diamond shape to it from the front, I bang out my seated calf raises. Now, notice I'm doing a lot of reps here. Those muscles fibers are incredibly dense, and that's going to end this workout with 25 repetitions. Thanks, everybody.